What if I told you that the reason most men fail with women has nothing to do with looks, money, or even charm? It's not about being the nice guy or the alpha male either. It comes down to something far more subtle and far more powerful. You see, women don't lose interest overnight. They lose respect one small compromise at a time. And in a world full of men who bend, break, and beg, the man who stands firm becomes unforgettable. In this video, we'll break down 5 Stoic principles every man must live by, not just to attract women, but to earn their deep respect, desire, and loyalty. So if you're ready to stop chasing and start leading, if you're done guessing what women want and ready to become the kind of man they remember, let's begin. Stoicism and the hidden truth about what women truly love. You've been taught to chase success, sculpt your body, refine your charm, all to win her over. But what if I told you that none of those things matter nearly as much as you think? Women don't fall in love with your job title, your bank account, or even your charisma. What they fall for, deeply, instinctively, is how you make them feel. And this is where Stoicism, the ancient philosophy of emotional mastery, quietly holds the key to modern attraction. A Stoic man doesn't seek to impress. He seeks to embody peace, strength, and certainty. In a world where most men are desperate for validation, reacting to every message, every mood swing, every subtle shift in attention, the Stoic man remains unshaken. And it is in this calm presence, this emotional grounding, that he creates a feeling in her she can't get elsewhere. Think of emotional imprinting like leaving fingerprints on her heart. It's not about being the loudest or flashiest. It's about being the most anchored. The man who can look her in the eyes with relaxed confidence, who can listen deeply without trying to fix her, who laughs not to seek approval, but because he genuinely sees the humor in life. This man makes her feel seen, safe, and stimulated. And those feelings stick. They echo in her mind long after you've left the room. Modern psychology backs it up. The most powerful memories we carry aren't built from logic. They're built from emotion. And when you, as a Stoic man, generate emotion without losing control, you become unforgettable. You stop being the nice guy she forgets and become the experience she relives in her head. Most men try to buy love, earn it, or explain why they deserve it. But a Stoic man doesn't chase love. He embodies value. He knows that women don't love him for who he is on paper. They love the way they feel when they're near him. Calm, alive, curious, and emotionally safe. So the lesson is clear. Stop trying to prove your worth and start becoming the man who creates an experience worth remembering. Your unshakable presence, not your possessions, is what leaves the deepest mark. When you become that man, women don't just notice. They never forget. Why chasing kills? Attraction, the Stoic man's advantage. It seems counterintuitive. If you want her, you should show it, right? Be attentive. Be available. Be responsive. But here's the brutal truth that no one tells you. The more you chase her, the less she feels for you. And while most men respond to silence with more noise, the Stoic man does the opposite. He stays silent. And in that silence, he becomes unforgettable. You see, women aren't attracted to desperation. They're drawn to value, to mystery, to the man who doesn't flinch when her replies slow down, to the man who doesn't beg for her attention because he knows deeply that his time is sacred. Chasing comes from fear. Stoicism comes from inner peace. And when you radiate peace, the world leans in. The Stoic man understands a timeless principle. Desire fades when certainty begins. The more available you make yourself, the less rare you become. The more effort you pour in without reciprocity, the more she takes you for granted. Not because she's cruel, but because human psychology is wired that way. We value what we have to earn, not what's handed to us freely. She doesn't want a man who panics when her energy shifts. She wants a man who can read the room, notice the distance, and pull back with dignity. Not out of spite, but out of self-respect. This restraint, this stillness, it drives her curiosity. She starts to ask, why isn't he chasing me like the others? Why is he so calm? And in that moment, you become the one she chases. The Stoic doesn't react impulsively. He observes. He doesn't fill the silence with anxious words. He lets her wonder. And that wondering, that's where attraction grows. Because when a man stops trying to win her over and starts living his life with purpose, she begins to feel something she hasn't felt in a while, a deep longing to earn his presence. So here's the truth. If your attention is cheap, your value drops. But when your presence feels earned, it becomes magnetic. Don't chase her. Elevate yourself. Hold your ground. Let her come to you. Because a man who can walk slowly through the fire of uncertainty without losing himself, without breaking his frame, that man is rare. That man is stoic. And that man, he doesn't need to chase. He knows the right energy always finds its way back. Why women want the unshakable man, not the nice guy. It's one of the most painful misunderstandings of modern relationships, the nice guy dilemma. Men grow up hearing, be nice, be sweet, be agreeable. That's what women want. But when they do exactly that, they're ghosted, friend-zoned, or slowly pushed away. Why? Because niceness without strength becomes weakness. And a woman doesn't fall for weakness. She craves the presence of an unshakable man. Let's be clear, being kind isn't the problem. Stoic men can be deeply kind. The problem is when kindness is rooted in fear. Fear of losing her, fear of conflict, fear of saying no. That's not kindness. That's surrender. And the moment you start bending to please her, agreeing to avoid discomfort, or hiding your true opinions, she stops seeing you as a man. She sees you as a mirror, reflecting what she wants but never standing on your own. The unshakable man, on the other hand, doesn't flinch when challenged. He doesn't seek her approval, he holds his ground. If she tests his limits, he doesn't argue. He simply doesn't budge. If she gets emotional, he remains composed. He's not reactive, he's not defensive. He leads with presence, not pressure. And here's the twist. This isn't about dominance, it's about emotional mastery. A stoic man doesn't try to dominate her. He simply refuses to be dominated by her moods. His calm is contagious. His certainty creates security. While the nice guy is walking on eggshells, hoping to keep her happy, the unshakable man lives in truth. Even when it's uncomfortable. Women test men for one reason, to feel safe. To know that if life gets chaotic, you won't collapse under pressure. That's what makes her feel trust, desire, and loyalty. Not flowers or compliments, but the quiet strength of a man who knows who he is and never betrays himself for anyone, even her. The nice guy wants to be liked. The unshakable man, he wants to be respected. And in that respect, love naturally grows. Not the fleeting, shallow love built on approval, but the enduring, powerful love built on a foundation of unshakable presence. So be kind, be thoughtful, but never be weak. Because the moment you stop proving yourself and start standing firm in who you are, that's when she truly sees you. And once she sees the strength behind your calm, she'll never look at another man the same way again. The stoic power of walking away. Why real men never cling. There comes a moment in every man's life when he faces a silent test. It doesn't come with warning signs. It doesn't scream for your attention, but it will define the kind of man you are. It's the moment when you realize that the woman in front of you is no longer adding to your life, but taking from it. And in that moment, the question becomes clear. Do you have the strength to walk away? Most men don't. They fear the silence that follows. They fear being alone. They fear losing something they once worked so hard to earn. So they tolerate disrespect. They swallow their voice and they cling, hoping that if they just love her a little harder, she'll come back around. But here's the hard truth. The more you fear losing her, the faster she loses respect for you. A stoic man understands this on a cellular level. He knows that walking away isn't weakness. It's the ultimate display of self-respect. He doesn't walk to punish her. He walks because his values are non-negotiable. He walks because peace is worth more than a relationship that costs him his dignity. And ironically, this act of detachment is what makes a man truly magnetic. When you're not afraid to walk away, you're saying, I am whole with or without you. That kind of energy is rare, and women feel it. It's not arrogance, it's inner abundance. It's knowing your worth so deeply that no external validation is necessary. Stoicism teaches us that we control our actions, not others. You can't force her to treat you better. You can't beg her to respect you. But you can control how long you choose to stay where you're not valued. That's where your power lies, not in your words. In your ability to walk with calm resolve when your boundaries are crossed. The man who stays when he should go loses himself. The man who leaves with grace and clarity, no matter how much it hurts, gains everything. Peace, power, and most importantly, the respect of himself. So next time she disrespects you, plays games, or takes your presence for granted, remember this. You were not born to chase love. You were born to embody it. And sometimes the loudest, "I love myself" you can ever say is walking away without a word. Be unshakable. Why consistency is the foundation of respect and attraction. In a world that constantly shifts, a man who remains consistent is a rare force. Most men bend, break, and mold themselves to fit in. They change their words to avoid conflict, their values to gain approval, and their energy to match the room. But the truth is, every time you change to please others, you lose a piece of yourself, and women can feel it. Stoicism teaches that identity isn't something you borrow from others. It's something you cultivate from within. A man rooted in his principles becomes a lighthouse in a stormy sea. While others sway, he stands tall. While others react, he responds. And while others chase attention, he commands respect simply by being the same man. Everywhere, every time. To a woman, this kind of consistency is magnetic. Not because you're robotic, but because you are reliable. Predictability in your values creates emotional safety. She doesn't have to wonder who you are today. She doesn't question whether you'll flake, crumble under pressure, or say one thing and do another. Your actions align with your words, and that builds trust, the deepest kind of attraction there is. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be anchored. One day you talk about wanting something serious, the next you're avoidant. She won't trust it. One day you're grounded, the next you shift with the wind. She can't follow that. Women are biologically drawn to stability because deep in their psychology, a man's consistency means security. Not just financial or physical, but emotional. It means she can let her guard down and be vulnerable because you're not going to vanish or transform. Stoic men don't perform, they embody. They know what they stand for, and they live it, even when no one's watching, especially when it's hard. They don't change for approval because they already approve of themselves. That kind of man doesn't just attract women, he inspires them. So, who are you when no one's watching? Who are you when she tests you, challenges you, or pulls away? If your answer changes with the situation, you're not leading, you're following. But when you remain grounded, when your words, your tone, and your behavior align, you become the one man she never forgets. Be the mountain, not the leaf. Inconsistency may get attention for a moment, but it's your steadiness that will earn her respect for a lifetime. In the end, the lessons we've explored go far beyond attraction or relationships. They speak to something deeper, the essence of who a man chooses to be. In a world that constantly changes, that rewards noise over wisdom and compromise over conviction, Stoicism teaches us to return to our core, to be grounded in what we value, to lead not with fear, but with clarity, to give, but never to beg, to walk away, but never with bitterness, and above all, to stay consistent in character, even when everything around us tries to shake us. For the older generation watching, perhaps you've lived long enough to see these truths unfold over time. You've seen that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's the quiet dignity of a man who knows when to speak and when to stand in silence. A man who does not sway with every wind, but remains calm through life's many storms. So whether you're guiding the next generation, rebuilding your own path, or simply reflecting, remember the Stoic man is not born, he is forged, and it's never too late to become him. Thank you for watching. Stay grounded, stay strong, and as always, stay stoic. Until next time, stay stoic, stay sharp, stay sovereign.